glaring at me. I give a quiet laugh, tug at my tie, and look at him the way you look at a dead man. Lance, before anyone moves, I'd suggest you find out what's on that USB drive. Some garbage? Hit him? Lancito doesn't listen. The Lin Group issued 350 million yuan in fraudulent invoices last year, evading 80 million in taxes. That unfinished tower on the south side, you diverted 200 million in escrow funds to cover stock market losses. And there's your father's money laundering records from the Macau casinos. My voice is perfectly calm, but each word hits the floor like a hammer. Lance's shouting cuts off. He stares, eyes locked on the black USB drive on the table, the bravado draining from his face, replaced by sheer terror. You're bluffing. Where did you get fake garbage like that? Lance's voice is shaking. Want to find out if it's a bluff? One phone call answers that question. I smile coldly, pull out my phone right in front of him, hit the speakerphone button, and dial a number. It rings twice. Then a firm, official voice answers. Hello, Financial Crimes Unit. Who's calling? Lance's legs buckle. If the bodyguard wasn't holding him, he'd be on his knees already. Ethan. Man, please don't do this. Lance completely falls apart, lunging wildly to grab my phone. I kick him back to the floor. I'd like to file a formal report against the Lin Group. I rattle off the key account figures and evidence locations clearly, ignoring Lance on the ground. I hang up, look down at the wreck he's become. You touch her so much as one hair on her head, I will tear the Lin family out by the roots. Now take your people and go prepare for bankruptcy. The bodyguards exchange glances. Not one of them steps forward. A financial crime of this scale means the Lin family is finished. These hired hands have nothing to gain by going down with them. I don't give Lance another glance. I turn toward the sofa. Liana has lost consciousness completely. She is curled into herself, burning like a hot iron, murmuring sounds she has no control over. I strip off my jacket, wrap her tightly, lift her sideways into my arms, walk out of the room, through the corridor, and no one dares to stop me. I sprint to the underground garage, settle Liana into the front passenger seat of the Maybach, click the seatbelt into place, and floor the accelerator out of the club. The air inside the car is thick with something sweet and dangerous. The drug has hit full force. Hot. So hot. Liana writhes in the passenger seat, tearing at the jacket over her with both hands. The drug has stripped away her reason. Only raw instinct remains. Liana, hold on. I'm getting you to a hospital. I wrench the wheel, pushing the car to its limit. Then, in the next second, she snaps open her own seatbelt hand, lunges at me like she's drowning. Ethan. Her burning body presses into mine, her hands wrapping around my neck like vines. She's crying, pressing broken kisses to my jaw, my neck, her hands tearing at my shirt. 2 buttons fly off, exposing my chest. Liana, stop. I'm driving. I grip the wheel with one hand, white-knuckled, the other trying to push her back, but she holds on too tight, as if she wants to dissolve herself into me. Then suddenly she stills. Her tears fall onto my chest, one after another, her fingers trembling violently, pressing over my heart. Ethan. She lifts her face. Those eyes, cloudy a moment ago, are now full of a heartbreaking despair and collapse. She points to my chest. Her voice tears through the air. Right here. You have a tumor. Late stage. Why doesn't it hurt anymore? My entire body goes rigid. My foot slips off the accelerator. The car swerves with a screech across the empty road. What is she saying? Achimar, why didn't you tell me? Why did you carry it alone? She grips my torn shirt with both fists, sobbing so hard it sounds like she's breaking, like years of buried pain are tearing out of her all at once. In that crash in our past life, when the truck came, why didn't you dodge? Why did you unbuckle your seatbelt and pull me close? Ethan, you liar, give me back your life. Thunder cracks through my skull. That crash in my past life, the one that killed us both, was not an accident. I feel struck by lightning. My mind goes completely blank. Stare at the woman crying in my arms. The tumor in my past life. The truth of the crash. 20 years of suffocation inside our marriage. Was all of it built on a lie? The Maybach's tires scream against the asphalt. I slam the brake and pull up in front of the nearest 5-star hotel. Liana's words dig into my mind like a rusted blade. Tumor. Late stage. The crash. I have no time to think it through. In the passenger seat, Liana has been completely consumed by the drug. Her body is burning like a red-hot coal. Both hands clutch my ruined shirt. Her long legs curled in pain. Wordless sounds falling from her lips. Liana, stay with me. Red-eyed, I tear my own seatbelt off, throw open my door, run around to her side, lift her sideways into my arms, kick the hotel door open, and rush for the elevator like a madman. The front desk attendant goes white, moves to stop us. I pull a black card from my pocket and slam it on the counter. Top floor suite, open it, now. 30 seconds later, I shoulder open the suited door without breaking stride. No hesitation. I charge straight into the bathroom, kick the door shut, drop Liana into the wide bathtub, and reach back to slam the cold shower on full blast. Ice-cold water erupts from the shower head, pouring over both of us. The sudden shock of cold rips a sharp scream out of Liana. She thrashes like she's been electrocuted, clawing at the edge of the tub, trying to get out. I bite down hard, step into the tub, clamp both hands onto her shoulders like iron, letting the freezing water run down my hair and into my eyes. Stinging, blinding. Liana, wake up. Open your eyes and look at me. The cold finally breaks through. Her violent struggling slows, then stops. She gasps in great heaving breaths. The glazed emptiness in her eyes, washed by the cold water, slowly begins to focus. She stares at me, at my shredded shirt, at the scratch marks on my chest. The drug is fading. Her mind is coming back. In the narrow tub, the cold water still rushes, both of us completely soaked, wrecked and pressed together, staring at each other through 20 years of separation and sorrow in this stream of cold water. Are you with me? I release her shoulders. My voice comes out raw and ruined. Liana says nothing. She just bites down on her bloodless lips, her tears mixing with the shower water falling in heavy drops. I reach up and shut the shower off. The bathroom falls into a silence like death. Only our ragged breathing echoes in the air. Now it's your turn to talk. I wipe the water from my face, staring hard into her eyes, pressing every word slowly and deliberately. What exactly did you mean in the car? The tumor. What? Have you been hiding from me in our past life? Liana's body jerks. She shrinks back instinctively, hugging her knees to her chest, curling up like a frightened animal. Talk? I slam my fist into the tile beside her ear. My knuckles split and bleed. Liana stares at my bleeding hand. The last wall behind her eyes finally gives. She breaks open like a child who has been carrying something unbearable for too long, sobbing without care for how she looks. Ethan, you are a monster. You are a complete and utter liar. She beats her fists against my chest between sobs, pouring everything into it. You think secretly transferring all your assets in our past life, cashing out your company shares, setting up an offshore trust fund? You honestly thought he couldn't find out? You think you covered your tracks? I go completely still, frozen. In my past life, in the 15th year of our marriage, I did exactly that. Her control over me had become something diseased. I thought she wanted to absorb my wealth, to leave a safety net for our daughter Nana. I had no choice. I found it. Liana is sobbing so hard she can barely catch her breath, her voice scraped raw. I followed the money. I found the medical documents you signed, the forms refusing treatment. I found the late-stage glioblastoma in your brain. A sledgehammer hits my skull. My ears ring with a high-pitched tone. Late-stage glioblastoma. My memories from that past life flash through me like a strobe light. No wonder I had those crushing headaches for years. No wonder I kept collapsing for no reason. But every time I went to a doctor, Liana had my test results in her hands, telling me I was just overworked, just stressed. You found out you were dying. The doctors gave you 6 months at most. Liana seizes my collar, her eyes red, tears breaking free in a flood. You couldn't even tell me. You quietly left every last thing you had to me and Nana, and then you were going to find some corner somewhere to go and die alone, weren't you? My mouth opens. Nothing comes out. It's as though my throat is packed with soaked cloth. It was a past life. I am healthy now, but in this moment, that bone-deep despair floods through me anyway, drowning me whole. You think I wanted to become that kind of woman? Liana screams at me, fingers digging into my skin. You think I wanted to go through your phone every day like a lunatic, control your every move? You think I wanted to lock you in the house, force those bitter herbal medicines down your throat? You gave up on yourself, but I couldn't give up on you. If I didn't keep you chained to my side, you would have crawled off somewhere and died like a deserter. I had no choice but to become the villain. I had to cut off every escape route, force you to stay, force you to try every treatment I could find. Ethan, you weren't even afraid to die. So what gave you the right to be afraid of me? What gave you the right to say I was suffocating you? The thing that was suffocating me was the countdown. The one that said you could disappear from me at any moment. The truth cuts through like a surgeon's blade, slicing open the most festering wound buried inside 20 years of marriage. I kneel rigid in the bathtub, feeling the blood in my body freeze solid. Every day in my past life that made me want to stop living. The endless screaming fights, the shattered dishes, the control that made every breath feel like wearing chains. None of it was sick possessiveness. It was her, standing between me and death, grabbing for whatever rope she could find to hold me here. She was willing to carry all my hatred, willing to let me think she was a monster, willing to use the most extreme and ruthless means to keep me alive. And the crash? I am shaking everywhere. My voice no longer sounds like mine. If you wanted me to live so badly, then why did we both die in that crash? At those words, Liana's pupils contract sharply. A flash of raw terror and pain crosses her eyes. It wasn't an accident. She trembles. Her hands grip mine. That day I was driving you to a top brain specialist in the city. On the mountain road, the brakes failed. An out-of-control truck came straight at us. Liana's tears fall onto my hands, burning. Ethan, I was the one driving. You were in the passenger seat. The truck was coming from the right. She snaps her head up. Those red, raw eyes lock onto mine, carrying a heartbreaking kind of madness. I turned the wheel hard left. I put the driver's side directly in the path of that truck. I wanted to use my life to keep you alive. But you absolute lunatic. You complete and total madman. Liana collapses into sobbing, pounding her fists against my shoulders. In the second before impact, you unbuckled your seatbelt. You threw yourself forward. You shielded my head with your body. You took the full force of the crushing metal with your own body. Why did you undo that belt? You could have survived. Give me back your life. Every piece, every question. In this moment, everything snaps perfectly into place. On the last day of our past life, in that out-of-control car, she turned the wheel hard to shield me in the passenger seat, sending herself toward death. And I, in the final second of my life, driven by 20 years of marriage burned into my instincts, unbuckled my belt, and used my body to shield her most vital parts. We were both trying, in the most absolute way possible, to leave the chance of survival to each other. Every ounce of resentment, every shred of bitterness, every wall between us, gone in this moment, utterly dissolved. My heart feels like it's being ground to nothing. The pain steals my breath. I look at this woman, soaked through, crying herself apart. This woman who carried 20 years of blame for my sake, while I was willing to trade her life for mine. Liana, my eyes burn red. A sound tears from my throat, something between grief and a roar. I reach out, pull her into me, and hold on with everything I have, arms locked around her waist as if I can press her back into my very bones. I'm sorry. I bury my face in the cold hollow of her neck. Tears pour out of me before I can stop them, mixing with the cold water on her skin. For the first time in 20 years, I cry like a lost child. I didn't know. I really didn't know anything. I hold on and my voice breaks apart completely. I thought you hated me. I thought you were trying to destroy me. Liana rests against my shoulder, arms wrapped tight around my back, her nails almost breaking skin. She shakes her head, crying, her tears soaking into my back. Ethan, I'm so tired. Being the villain is so exhausting. She breathes it against my ear, her voice so fragile it aches to hear. No more. Never again. I cup her pale face in my hands, my trembling thumbs gently wiping the tears from the corners of her eyes. My eyes hold a steadiness I've never felt before. Fate gave us a second life to break this curse. Liana, in our past life, I owed you your life. In this one, I will pay it back, one piece at a time. I swear it. From this moment on, nothing will ever separate us again. Liana looks at me. Those eyes that have always carried coldness and distance, they fill again with that light from our past life. The one where the whole world in her eyes was me. She says nothing. She just tilts her head back slightly and closes her eyes. The temperature in the bathroom seems to rise sharply, the chill of the cold water driven out completely by two hearts beating together again. I look at her red lips, so close, and my breathing slows and deepens. Every misunderstanding has been undone. That fierce, desperate feeling, suppressed for 20 years and now recovered, erupts through my chest like a volcano. I lean down about to close the distance, to end our past life's tragedy with this one kiss, and open the beginning of what is ours. But at the exact moment my lips are about to touch hers, warm drops fall without warning onto my chest. I freeze. I look down instinctively. Not cold water, not tears, a drop of bright red blood. Then drip, drip, drip. More and more blood pours from Liana's nose, instantly staining her pale lips, running down her chin, hitting the cold water in the tub in drops that bloom into something horrifying. Liana! My eyes go wide. My heart leaps into my throat. Liana slowly opens her eyes, but her gaze has lost focus. She looks at me, lips moving like she wants to speak, but the only sound is a faint leaking hiss. Then her eyes roll back. Her whole body goes limp, a puppet with its strings cut, and falls straight into my arms. Liana! Liana! I shake her shoulders like a man losing his mind, but she doesn't respond. Blood keeps flowing from her nose, staining both my hands. Absolute terror closes around my throat like a frozen grip. Don't be afraid. I'm getting you to a hospital right now. I scramble out of the tub, grab a large bath towel, wrap her tight, lift her into my arms sideways, and tear out of the hotel like a gust of wild wind. The fluorescent lights in the city hospital emergency corridor are harsh and white. I'm completely soaked, collapsed like a ghost on the cold bench outside the trauma room, water dripping from my clothes onto the floor, both hands coated in dried dark blood. It has been exactly 1 full hour since they wheeled Liana in. For that entire hour my mind has been chaos. Why did she start bleeding? Why did she collapse? In our past life, she was completely healthy. Could what Lance put in her drink have been something worse? If that animal used actual poison, I will tear him apart with my bare hands. The heavy trauma room door is suddenly pushed open. A doctor in a mask and green surgical scrubs walks out quickly. There are specks of spray on his coat. Who is the family of the patient, Liana Liu? The doctor's voice is urgent and hard. I'm her husband. I launch out of the chair. My legs have gone numb. I nearly drop to my knees. I stumble toward him, seize his arm. Doctor, what's happened to her? Was she poisoned? The doctor looks at me, and what I see in his eyes drops me into cold water. He slowly removes his mask. His face is pale as he shakes his head. He holds a brain scan that was just printed. It's not the drug. His voice travels through the empty corridor. Every word is a hammer blow to my skull. There is an extremely rare, hidden neurological injury near the patient's brainstem. It is not pathological in origin. It's more consistent with a brain that has previously suffered an extreme physical impact, the kind of impact that causes hidden fractures inside the nerve fibers themselves. A physical impact? I stand there numb. My mind goes blank. That's impossible. She hasn't been injured at all recently. That's exactly what is so strange. The doctor's brow is locked tight. The hands holding the scan are trembling slightly. Based on the imaging, an impact of the severity would typically only appear in the aftermath of a catastrophic vehicle crash. And furthermore, the doctor pauses, looks up at me with an expression of profound grief. The injury has already caused large-scale hidden internal bleeding in the cranial cavity. It is pressing on her brainstem. The patient is now in a deep coma. You should prepare yourself. The doctor draws a slow breath and delivers the final verdict. She could suffer brain death at any time. The air in the corridor feels as though it has been completely drained. I stand there, hollow, staring at the blinding red light above the trauma room door. The impact of the crash from our past life. Rebirth doesn't just carry memories. It carries the fatal wounds of that past life forward as a punishment from fate. Fate, you miserable thing. You just gave her back to me, and now you're trying to take her in front of my eyes. To hell with fate. I clench me fists until my nails cut into my palms, blood dripping through my fingers onto the white floor. I look up. My eyes are bloodshot, locked on the trauma room door. Death wants to take her. Over my dead body. Mr. XU, please calm down. Please sign the critical condition form. The nurse holds pulls out a trembling slip of paper. I knock it out of her hands and roar like a lion. I'm not signing anything. I have all the money in the world. Get me the best equipment, the best medicine. She is not going to die. The doctor sighs, helpless. His eyes hold despair. This isn't about money. The hidden neurological trauma is too unusual. Domestic neurosurgery cannot handle it. Then get someone from outside the country. I grab his coat with both hands, eyes drilling into his. Who is the best brain specialist in the world? Tell me. Professor Smith in the United States, Dr. Hans in Germany, but their schedules are full. It's simply not possible. Nothing is impossible. I shove him aside and pull out my phone. My knuckles are white. Marcus. The moment the call connects, I yell. Forget the West Side Project. Sell every share we have. Yes, right now, this instant. On the other end, Marcus is lost. Ethan, are you insane? The city plan is about to drop. Selling now means losing half. That project is a gold mine. Then lose half. I need cash. Now, real cash. My eyes are red. I shout into the phone. Don't care what price the buyers offer. Before sunrise tomorrow, I want to see that cash sitting in my account. Every last dollar. Ethan, what happened? Marcus hears the despair in my voice. Liana is in trouble. I need the money to save her life. Go. I hang up without a breath of pausing and dial my broker. It's me. Every rocket stock in my name, liquidate all of it. No discussion. Post them at the lowest limit price and dump them immediately. Don't wait even a second. And the Lin Group debt holdings, whoever wants them, sell the whole package at half price. Convert everything I have into US dollars. In just 3 hours, the empire I had just started to build is smashed to pieces by my own hands. My first fortune from this second life, the blueprint for 100 billion empire. All of it is nothing against the thin thread of Liana's life. If rebirth means carrying my past life's fatal wound forward, then I'll give up every last dollar, as long as I can break this rotten death and fate cycle. More than 10 million in cash, plus tens of millions from the West Side sale. I throw it all across the ocean, like I'm scattering paper money at a funeral. Hello, is this Professor Smith's team? I'm offering 10 times your standard fee. Charter a private jet to China immediately. Dr. Hans. If you are on a plane right now, 10 million US dollars lands in your account the moment you board. If the equipment isn't sufficient, I will buy you the highest grade medical air transport available. Just get her back from death. I will give everything I have. 2 days later, the top floor of the city hospital is completely sealed off. A team of 7 of the world's leading brain specialists takes over the operating room. The door is slammed shut. The red light blazes on. The corridor is so quiet it drives you insane. Every ounce of strength drains from my body. Slide down the cold wall, both knees hitting the hard floor. Ethan, get up. Marcus arrives red-eyed, reaching for my arm. Don't touch me. I wrench away from him, turn to face that cold operating room door, and without a moment's hesitation, I bow down. My forehead hits the hard marble floor with a heavy thud. Fate, listen to me. I bite down hard. The taste of blood floods my mouth. My voice barely holds together. In my past life, I owed her a life. In this one, I offer every last ounce of my luck, every last dollar I have to repay it. I bow again, my forehead meeting the floor. Blood rises from my skin instantly. If you must take someone, take me. Use every life I will ever have to buy her safety. Time becomes the most brutal form of torture. 1 hour, 2 hours, 5. 15. A full 15 hours of fighting for her life. I kneel in the corridor, my knees long past all feeling, my mind cycling frantically through every moment of our 20 years, her turning the wheel to shield me, and Nana's small innocent face. Then a sharp sound cuts through the air. The red light above the operating room finally goes dark. The heavy doors slowly open. Professor Smith pulls off a mask soaked in sweat. His exhausted face carries a look of disbelief. Mr. Shu, this is a miracle in the history of medicine. The neural repair surgery was completely successful. She made it. My whole body shudders. The nerve that has been stretched tight for 15 hours snaps. Tears pour out before I can stop them. I crawl and stagger to my feet, stumble into the intensive care unit. In the bed, Liana lies with a breathing mask over her face so pale it's almost transparent. As if she can sense me, her long lashes tremble, and she slowly opens her eyes, looking at my unshaved face, my bleeding forehead, my wrecked appearance. The corner of her mouth pulls weakly into a ghost of a smile. Single tear slips from the corner of her eye. Through the oxygen mask, her voice is so faint it barely reaches me. Ethan! I drop to my knees beside her bed, both hands gripping the cold back of her hand, pressing my lips to it again and again. I'm here. I'm right here. Our Nana? Her eyes shimmer with a fragile, broken light. Will she come back to us? My heart is seized by something warm and absolute. Yes, I can barely speak through my tears. They fall onto her palm, burning. But my voice, through all of it, is steady in a way it has never been before. She will. As long as we're here, alive and together, Nana will find her way home. Time flows on. The moment fate's cycle was broken, everything turned onto a new track. 5 years later, outside a private delivery room at the city maternity hospital, I pace back and forth, restless, palms soaked, eyes locked on the closed door. Come on, man, stop pacing. She's going to be fine, both of them. Marcus holds out a bottle of water beside me. He grins. A man worth $100 billion, more nervous than when you closed that billion-dollar deal. I shoot him a look and push the water away. Get out of here, you have no idea. 5 years ago, I lost everything to save Liana, but fate gave us a path forward. After she recovered, we married again. armed with memories from our past life and an instinct for each other carved into our bones. In just 5 years we rebuilt, and built something far greater than anything we had before. But none of it is worth a fraction of what that woman is doing for me behind that door right now. A sharp, clear cry slices through the silence of the hallway. The door opens. Nurse walks out, beaming, a bundle in her arms. Congratulations, Mr. Zhu, it's a girl. Mother and baby are both safe. My whole body shakes. My legs buckle, nearly go down. I reach out with trembling hands and take that tiny life into my arms. The blanket loosens slightly. The baby slowly opens her eyes, dark and round as little grapes, not crying, just looking at me with quiet curiosity. And in that instant, my breath stops completely. At the outer corner of her right eye, there is a pink birthmark, delicate as a petal from a peach blossom, identical to our daughter Nana's in our past life. Nana. My eyes go red, I can barely make a sound. Burning tears fall onto the edge of the blanket. The cycle of fate is broken at last. Love, it turns out, will always find its way through time and carry on, life after life without end.